Tilton. What's the goal? And it's into the goal! Martins! It's a gift for Birmingham! Martins has taken
it! We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's a team down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. The chant of Super Blues ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what.
Welcome once again to Monday night's Tilton Talk Show. This week saw Blues capitulate a first half lead against Wolves, and we went home with our tails between our legs after conceding 3 in the second half. Jack Storer had the perfect opportunity to make his mark and possibly stamp out a first team regular spot, but unfortunately the occasion got to the better of him, and a stupid decision to plant a headbutt saw him sent off after about 7 minutes on the field. Yes, he's young, yes, he's enthusiastic, but he also has to remain professional and learn very quickly not to retaliate when somebody fouls him and let the referee deal with the fallout. From that moment on, the writing was pretty much on the wall, and we rolled over, and Wolves looked sharper and more powerful going forward. The bungee jump we've all been waiting for is now just 6 days away, as our own Mr. Fun, Chris Pugh, takes to the skies with just an elastic band hopefully breaking his fall. Then, of course, it's the big one on Sunday as Karen Carney returns to the moors to take on our girls. This time she'll be in a Chelsea shirt, and we want as many of you to get there as you can. Let's cheer our ladies team on, who have risen above expectations this season and are doing very well, thank you very much. The audience from the Tom Ross interview went over the 12,000 mark. The following were Gabriel Sutton, around 9,000, and we're now live on Keep Right on page 2. This week's audience could be the biggest ever. Once again, the Tilton Talk Show is very proud to have a special guest with us tonight, and we've already had a host of questions in the bag. Join us on the shout box or any of the Facebook live streams, and let's get another great show on the road. Up next, Norwich at home on Saturday. Surely we have to be on our mettle for this one, as they'll be coming looking for all 3 points. For the first time this season, them across the expressway are above us. We can't let this happen. We can't let them gloat. Strap yourselves in and get ready for the ride. Just another week in the life of a Blues fan.
We'll support you till the end of the day. We're so happy following the blues. We love you, what more can we say?
Welcome to Monday night's Tilton Talk Show. Oh, a sad affair tonight, really, to be perfectly honest with you. Welcome and thank you, Mr. Brown, for hosting us once again.
No problem.
And Mr. Pugh, welcome to you, my good friend.
Thank you. Good evening.
And tonight's very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, a massive, massive welcome for the one and only Mr. Brian Dick. Brian Dick, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Dick. There you go, Brian. Everybody gets the clap on the Tilton Talk Show. Welcome to you, my friend.
Cheers. Yeah.
Nice to see you, and thanks ever so much for coming in. We've had an absolute amazing start to the Tilton Talk Show 2016-17 series. Audiences have just shot through the roof, and obviously we're hoping for even more tonight. Bigger and better. Bigger and better. Right, Brian, you have no clue why you're here, really, do you? You haven't got a clue what we're going to ask you. You have no inclination whatsoever as to what's going to go on.
As long as I keep my clothes on, I'll consider it a result.
You can keep your clothes on.
Yeah.
Raising up. Sorry, Dennis isn't
Not
here.
like last one.
Dennis isn't here. You can definitely keep your clothes on. What's a typical week life in the like of yourself?
If we start on a Monday, it's usually sort of the mop up from the Saturday. Sort of a lot of responding to what's been on social media. If there's a Tuesday game, then it tends to be a press conference, and then obviously the Tuesday is the game itself. Wednesday will be the day off, then Thursday will be the pre-Saturday press conference.
And where's that usually held?
It's usually held at Wast Hills.
Right,
Gary
okay.
Rowett usually fronts them up.
Uh-huh.
I say usually, always fronts them up. To be fair, can't think of any.
He's very good on his presentation, isn't he?
He
very
is.
Good,
yeah. I mean, and I'm sure we'll get into what people feel about Gary Rowett later. But in terms of dealing with the media, which may not be massively important when it comes to tactics and player purchase and all the rest of it. But in terms of dealing with the media, I honestly couldn't fault him. He's
very
absolutely
good.
brilliant. Yeah.
So Thursday, then that press conference.
Thursday, then Friday, it's doing the pre-match stuff, and then obviously Saturday is the match itself.
And you go to all the games.
Yeah.
Every game, every season.
I missed the first 2 of this season because I was on holiday.
But how rude!
Yeah, I know.
Rude.
Jolly unprofessional, and that has been pointed out. To be fair,
Where did you go?
Where did we go? Cornwall and the Lake District.
Not too bad then. Not too bad.
We didn't do anything too lavish.
You could have done it from there with all the
do you know what
technologies that we've got nowadays?
My bosses are here listening to you say that. There's every chance they might agree with you. And then Sundays, usually most of Sunday morning is spent writing up what's happened on a Saturday as well.
Right.
So, I can't complain. It's a great job. It's a privilege to cover a club that sort of gets under your skin a little. Well, you guys know better than I, but it certainly gets under your skin.
Are you a Birmingham City fan?
I'm not. I've got to say that now.
Okay. End of show.
That was a long journey.
I can categorically say I'm not an Aston Villa fan.
That's okay.
My team belong in League Two.
That's all right. The shoutbox has come back up now.
My team are safely ensconced in League Two and are not doing very well.
Which team would that be? Or are you not prepared to say?
It's Plymouth Argyle.
Plymouth Argyle. No, it's fine. It's fine. We don't mind Plymouth Argyle here, do we?
Still getting over last night.
Yeah, it was fairly disappointing to put it mildly. Yeah. My daughter hasn't really recovered her equilibrium after that.
Bless her.
Gutted, bless her.
Okay, so on the Tilton Talk Show then we got tonight, Mr. Brian Dick. Any questions that you can put onto the shout box for us, then please do so. Keep them sensible, because we do not want any stupidities. That's not what we're here for. Mr. Pugh, you're 6 days away from this bungee jump. Oh, interjection.
Brian, what's the best game you've been able to report on for a Blues game?
Let's have a think. Derby tends to leap off the page, doesn't it? I thought I probably wouldn't see anything better than the 2-2. The 2 goals in injury time, which spoiled their season. Yeah. But I think the 3-0 last season was probably even better, actually.
Yeah, went to that one.
Yeah, those 2.
You went to that one, didn't you?
Great.
Yeah,
that's where I got my. That's where I got my nickname, Mr. Floor from. I was asleep on the bus. Who cares? Hey,
I think that's probably the most complete Blues performance I've seen under Ramit.
Yeah, the first half was real keep it tight and draw their sting, wasn't it? And then
we executed the plans perfectly.
But of course, he just didn't want to lose against Derby anyway, did he?
Sublime goal as well to wrap it up.
Who knew Michael Kiftenbeld had that in him as well? No.
And
a great day.
Good day out was had by Hall. I must admit. These guys have actually got some photographs of me when I got back into my hometown. And kind of fell asleep in the pub. There's a photograph they circulated around every single pub in Uttoxeter next time they came up for a game, and everybody's now got a photograph of me leaning up against the bar with my gob open. So, but I enjoyed my day out. I don't care. I'm no harm to anybody. I just get get tired. That's all. Yeah. Okay. So 6 days away from your bungee jump, then, Mister. How are you feeling? Fine. No nerves at all.
No.
It's not keeping you awake at night.
No,
it would be me. I'd be cacking it. I'd be absolutely cacking it. I must admit.
Perfectly fine, thank you.
I must admit. Yeah. Just one elastic band between you and the earth.
Well, what happens.
Can I just say the Chris Pugh Appreciation Society is already in the house?
Oh, great! Yes, we did have a Chris Pugh Appreciation Society come on last week, and
Evening
Chris. It's been gathering momentum.
Your ratings went up completely, didn't they, last week?
They're both in.
So we're going off to Sunshine Smiles event next week. That's to raise money for Birmingham Children's Hospital, I think, isn't it?
It's kids with I think it's kids with terminal diseases.
Yes, yeah. And Chris has quite gallantly, I must say. Well, he didn't offer. He didn't offer to do the.
There was no volunteering.
No, there was no volunteering. Well, me and Chris volunteered him because we were far too old. We were far too old to get into that kind of activity, and so it's this Sunday. Come down and see it. We'll give you the address for it in a bit, and then pretty much as soon as that's done, we're off to the ladies' game. It's the return of the Carney on Sunday, at the Moors. 2 o'clock kick-off, and we want beg your pardon, it's been revised. 3:15 kick-off, 3:15 kick-off, and we want as many people to get down there as we possibly can, and back the girls for that great big game. It's a big game.
It is a big
Blues
game,
ladies.
I think still it's a really, really long shot But if we were to win, then that second Champions League place still is within reach.
Yep.
So I think it is still a big game, yeah. And like you say, it would be great to get as many people down there for the end of the season.
Can't wait for the Karen Carney.
Yeah.
She's been in, by the way. She's a lovely lady. Karen
she's
Carney.
great.
Very nice,
Yeah.
and again articulates herself very, very well.
Yeah.
So, okay. Met up with a Derby fan, because we were talking about Derby a second ago. Met up with a Derby fan in Uttoxeter today. Anybody guess who it might have been?
No idea.
No.
Don't know any
Come along.
Derby fans.
You do.
May or
Famous.
may not have been
Mail.
in here.
Famous.
Mail. Yeah, very
Yeah.
famous. Been into the
May
studio.
or may not have been in this studio.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, the
Yes,
Oggies.
yeah, come on.
Rocking
The old
Johnny.
geezer, Rocking Johnny. I met up with Rocking Johnny today, and bless him, he's going through a bit of a torrid time at the moment. His dear lady wife's very, very poorly, so best wishes to her. And he says he can't wait to come in the Monday after Boxing Day. It's already written in his diary, so it's been in his diary. Rocking Johnny is a little bit of a local legend to Uttox. He's raised £750,000 or something like that, doing all kinds of sponsored work, and he's as mad as a hatter. He's got his own beer named after him, all sorts. And we have him in after the Derby games, and we do have a bit of a laugh for that one. But yeah, best wishes to your wife, and I know you'll be listening tonight, dude. Right, okay, Saturday's game. What a cracking first half that was. You can't ask for much more, can you, going in 1-0 up against local rivals at half time. Cracking goal by Shay Adams, and then all of a sudden it's as though somebody put something in the tea. What do you reckon?
I just think we weren't prepared for them to come out. We should have been, because they I don't think they were very good first half Wolves. I think they sat back at us, and from the bits and bobs I saw, we always looked. I mean, they were looking to hit us on the counter. As you say, Adams took his goal really well. I thought he actually had a really good start to the game. He settled in well. Magoma was playing quite well. I didn't see much danger apart from when we were giving the ball away in their half and they were trying to hit us on the counter.
But their finisher was woeful first half as well, wasn't it?
But then second half, like you say, they come out, and that, to be fair, they got a really good first goal. The equaliser was an excellent turn and finish, and then from that moment on, they're in full control, and they made the most of it.
Not happy. I don't know. It's very difficult to put into words, really.
I thought, excuse me, I thought the first half Blues probably just about edged. Obviously, they got the goal, but even then, I thought there was still some jitters. Shot and let that ball go bounce and go over him, and Bodmarston got in.
Saved,
and there was a 4-on-1 that Dave Davies gave the ball away in their half, and then Spectre got back.
Spectre made the challenge.
I think the signs were there a little bit, but I mean, as you say, the minute they scored, it just sort of came crumbling down, didn't it? Really, and I don't know whether I've written about it as though it was a mental issue rather than a tactical or technical issue, because they just seemed to lose all confidence. And I think afterwards, I think Rowett was probably concerned more with the way the defeat happened than the actual defeat itself.
Yeah, and the Storer incident, obviously that's a massive talking point in the game, and certainly probably a turning point as well, because we were on the back foot from that moment on. We'd just got nothing left, to be perfectly honest with you. How do you stop a young, highly charged, enthusiastic young man like that from doing something so silly, so silly? It was his perfect opportunity. A local derby in front of the Tilton. If you're gonna make an impact on a game, don't headbutt somebody. Put the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. Show him your worth on that score, rather than he's missing 3 games now, I take it. Yeah. And then possibly quite a while after that.
It depends how quickly Rowett thinks he can trust him again, doesn't it? And put him into that sort of that cauldron of an atmosphere.
I mean, you were at the Port Vale game and you saw what happened there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was a 21-man brawl.
Yeah, I know, and it was on the touchline now. Yeah. There was no need to do it. No. But and I spoke to him after the game as well, and he said, I've got this issue, and I need to rein it in. But he's as big a passionate Blue Nose as anyone I've ever met. He absolutely loves the club. Hopefully the penny will drop that demonstrating that affection is not by I wouldn't really call it a headbutt, to be fair. He just dipped his forehead, didn't he?
You can't do it there, can you?
No, you can't do it. But I'm sure he knows it was the wrong thing to do. And that aggression is part of his game, and you want to keep that aggression, but channel it right, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't sit here and lambast an 18-year-old kid.
Because
which of us would want to be judged by our 18-year-old selves,
But having said that, you're playing a professional game and getting paid a professional wage for doing a professional service. You cock up a lot. We've all done it. We've all been there. We've all done it.
Yeah.
And he will get over it. He will get over it. And like you say, I do hope he can channel that aggression to his feet.
I look back.
He's got a cracking shot on him.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not comparing him technical wise to Rooney, but Rooney definitely had that streak.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He had that streak about him when he was that age. And he got sent off. He got sent off at our place in our first. I think it was our first season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
When he was at Everton, he got sent off. He had that about him, but it's also what made him the player he is as well. You want that. You want that passion. You want that attitude. But like Brian said, you want it channeled in the right way. And I think you hope he'll learn quickly from it. But now the issue is Rowett got to trust him again. And with the fact he's brought 2 strikers in the last week, has he gone down the pecking order again? We'll see.
You would have thought so. Now it's a sore one to lose against the Wolves as well, isn't it? From a Birmingham fans' perspective, when it's a ding dong derby, you want to be in on that one. And obviously, there's another one coming up in October that we don't want to be on the wrong side of.
Yeah.
Going back to the ladies for a second, Brian, one of the listeners has asked, is there any chance that you, as the Birmingham Mail, could do more for writing up pieces for the ladies?
Yeah, we had this discussion at the start of the ladies' season, actually. Cause was it the off season? It was just, I think the Blues had just finished, hadn't they?
Yeah.
From a personal point of view, I'd like to go down and do more. What the situation is, as you probably know, we've lost a lot of staff in over the years, and the staff we have got tend to be focused on where the greatest audience is, and that audience is judged by website numbers. And
that's a bit of a shame, because audience can be generated as well.
Yeah, no, that is a fair. That's a fair point. What I would say is, we don't actually send writers to any other events other than Birmingham City, Aston Villa, and West Bromwich Albion games.
Right. Okay.
Those literally they've got the 3 writers who go to those games.
And those are paid writers. Those are
they're staff writers.
Staff writers. Okay.
Yeah.
There's been guest bloggers. I think Chris Quinn. Do you know Chris Quinn?
I do know Chris. Yeah.
Chris has done blogs
for
Blues Ladies on the Birmingham Mail website, and that have gone in the paper as well. So and the Champions League run that we went on, there was good publicity then. I just wonder whether you mentioned about when our season started, it would have been March, April. So as the men's season was winding down, obviously next season they're changing it round. So the season will run in conjunction with the men's team. I don't know whether that would make it easier or harder to get.
It depends when they play. Will they play on a Sunday?
I think they'll still be Sundays. Yeah.
The issue from sort of a Rotary point of view is Sundays is the one day we can all guarantee to have off. And it just depends whether the paper's willing to staff it, and whether they're willing to staff it, as I said, depends on the website traffic you get. In an ideal world, as you said, they've got an outside chance of Champions League. In an ideal world, we'd be there. I absolutely agree.
Just going back to the game, Ray says, if I was Rowett, I would ask Storer what he was doing on the pitch to apologise to fans. Maybe, and to apologise to fans, it probably means.
I think he put a tweet out, didn't a couple of tweets out apologising to the fans and stuff for his behaviour and saying he'll learn from it. But, he's not going to, I don't want him to stand there in front of the Tilton for half hour sobbing his eyes out, and apologising.
Get on with it. Get on to the next
that's
one.
it. You've been sent off. You've made your apology on social media. Show it with your feet now. And
Bleepy Race he's saying that Donaldson badly needs help up front.
I think it's perfectly evident, isn't it?
Yeah.
Perfectly evident. And with the lack of caddies at the moment, unfit. Caddi's unfit. That's a to me that's I don't know. That's a bit of a poor story for me. I mean, personally, professional football, coming back to a football season, and he hasn't got that fitness. And again, there's he's put himself in the Blues legends kind of category, hasn't he, for that last minute goal, and comes back not fit. I don't know. So, do you read more into that one or not?
I don't know. What I'd say is the fact that Rowett been playing Spectre at right back over Caddis, and he hasn't been using Caddis in his preferred position. He's played him a couple of times in midfield. If I was Caddis, and sometimes there is no smoke without fire, and there has been rumours of Caddis moving on. If I was Caddis, your motivation to get fit, to be fit, is twofold. You either prove to Rowett that you're fit and you get back in the side, or you prove to other teams that you're fit and raring to go, so they can come in for you if that is the situation, and Rowett would be prepared to let him go. So there's more than enough reasons for Caddis to stay fit and to get fit. If he isn't fit, then I don't know. Maybe there's an underlying issue there, but
I'm just conscious of the fact we've heard one side of the story, and we haven't heard from Caddis himself yet. We don't know what issues there were in the summer, if indeed there were any. But from Rowett's point of view, if he said to his players, as I think he has said publicly,
you've come back fitter than you were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If he said that, and he's found that certain players haven't done that, then his hands are tied, really, aren't they? He's got to be.
He's made that ultimatum.
He's got to be as good as his word.
See, we had that same ultimatum here, but we mistook it for come back fatter than you were.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Mr. Fun.
You're more than welcome.
Anything else on the chat box, Christopher, at the minute? ELO has written, can you please save a space in the obituary columns after the budget up on Sunday?
I was going to say give us your number, but if it all goes well, it just doesn't go well, it wouldn't help, would it, really? Would it?
You'll see it on Facebook Live anyway, so.
I'm sure there'll be a long, lengthy discussion on next week's show if it all goes
There's a
wrong.
few questions for Brian which will come up. We'll do them later.
No problem at all.
But
if it doesn't go well, can we keep the rope here?
Yeah, good idea.
Like we had the coffin in.
And sell it for charity.
Yeah,
Yeah, sounds good. That.
Yeah, laugh at it.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
Huey's last bump.
Apparently, often Partisan have written a piece today on Caddis. So says Ray.
Okay, I'll pick up on that later and have a read of that then. But yeah.
Who is better, Donaldson, Cottrell, or Grounds? Said Steve.
They're all different styles. I mean,
yeah.
they're
the three that are getting stick at the moment.
I mean, because we're not scoring goals, are we? I mean, Donaldson will run his heart out.
That's not Grounds' fault.
No. Well, it's a team effort, though, isn't it? We're not winning, all right. We're not.
Yeah.
We've lost one.
Well, yeah, we've lost one from 4, and there's 3 points gap between 6th and 22nd.
Yes.
The unpredictable championship of last season has got even more unpredictable somehow. I didn't think it was possible, but it has. QPR start the season on fire. Preston don't get a point, and then Preston go to QPR and win. Yeah, makes all the sense in the world.
That's why you love the
You don't
championship
make sense of the championship. You go into a game, and if you pick up a point, it's you literally take every point you can get in this league, because there is no sense to it. There is no order to it. There is no, you don't make sense of the championship results. You just you take what you can. You go into every game. You've got to work. You got to work as hard as everyone else.
Again, I'll take you back to them from across the expressway. Obviously, I live very close to Derby, and a lot of Derby fans were in the pub Saturday night, and they were saying that they were absolutely awful, just shockingly awful. So last week they were going to win and romp the league. This week, well, according to the Derby supporters, they were pretty shocking. Their owner has tweeted out that he's going to buy a world-class striker. Woo! Strange and crazy thing to do in the world of football, especially in the world of modern football, because whoever he buys now has got to live up to that standard.
Donaldson has spirit, but he just doesn't get to the balls, says Chris Shipley. What do you think of Rowett's subs against Wolves? was a
Yeah.
that was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Battling.
I think Tesha. Well, I think the Tesha one had been conceived before they went ahead. I mean, he was standing by the dugout, ready to come on. Obviously, then Wolves go and score, and the substitution still happens. Was Che Adams tiring? He hadn't done a huge amount in the second half. I don't think he hadn't. Certainly hadn't.
And he hadn't started. Had he played any games for Sheffield United?
No, I don't think he had.
So I don't think he's played. It's
match,
his first competitive
Since
game
May.
of the season. Yeah, exactly. He's had pre-season, obviously, but that competitive element of fitness, it's different to pre-season fitness. And like you say, he put himself about quite a lot in the first half.
Cracking goal as well.
Yeah, it was a good. Like you say, it was a good finish, and that's one of the positives you have to take from the game is that he had that chance and he put it away. He had a couple of others where he got into good areas, and that's the sort of thing you have to take from it and say in a couple of weeks' time, if he's playing 90 minutes regularly, then that's a positive you take from the game.
What we don't see as well, sorry, is the fact that they've all got live data, going back to a laptop, haven't they? So the staff can see how much he's running and how much he's not running as well. So there is sort of qualitative
like
data
Brian mentioned, it might well have been the case that Che was never going to go more than 60-65 minutes, and that was always the plan. And although Wolves went and scored, that do you leave him on and risk him being injured and out for a month, or do you hope that Tesha can do something?
I think what the discussion you can have from that point then is Robert Tesha the right man? If you're going to replace Adams, is Tesha the man you bring on? And arguably Greg Stewart or even Storer, I know
at that time,
but possibly might have been a different option.
Yeah,
bring back Super Kip. Says
Kevin Francis.
I've seen a couple of mentions of Cameron Jerome. Is that
Francis
for real?
or Phillips?
I was going to say,
I like Kevin Phillips.
Either one. I think Phillips could still get 20 goals in this league, to be fair. But.
I don't know if you saw those. There's a few chats regarding Cameron Jerome. That can't be for real, surely. Is he had a favour at Norwich?
He scored in the derby yesterday.
Yeah, there you go.
he signed a contract in the
summer.
summer.
There's no way we'd be able to afford Jerome.
No.
And let's face it, I mean, he wasn't 100% finishing rate either with Cameron.
Yeah,
was it,
exactly.
One against Liverpool.
So when he did score, he did score.
But that's the thing.
Just
whenever anyone thinks of Cameron Jerome, that's the guy you think of, isn't it? But
do you know what I like the one? I like the one at Spurs. The 3-2 win, obviously famous for Seb Larsson's goal. But Jerome went through 1-on-1. I mean, how many times did he convert those and put that away with no fuss at all? So.
Cusack's kicking was awful. Not once or twice, but 3 or 4 times.
Yes, but we've suffered for that from goalkeepers over the last few years, to be honest with you.
I tell you what, is there anyone left who people are happy with?
Well, no, I'm not. It'll all be forgotten tomorrow. I'll be back on it again. You know what I mean? But it's the soreness of losing to who we lost to. That's
but there's a sense of reality to adopt now, because whether we like it or not, they've come in with big owners with big hopes, and they've got big expectations now. They've signed good players, and they've signed 2 more good players on loan today. I think I mentioned Borthwick Jackson in our left back debate last week.
Yes,
we can't attract Cameron Borthwick Jackson from Man United. Wolves now can. So there's your sense of reality. We're not the pull that Wolves are. We're not the pull that B6 are.
And this is a shame that this takeover debacle has gone on for so very long. I mean, look, Wolves, Villa, and Albion sold. New owners, and we're still.
They haven't got the ownership
issues
behind the scenes issues that we had there. They just had owners that wanted to sell for the biggest price, basically, and they've finally got somebody to take it.
I think it's a non-clarity, isn't it? Because most Blues fans don't understand that.
No,
I don't.
Well, also, to be fair, I mean, it is a measure of the mess that was left behind, but it's also, we're dealing with a publicly listed company in Hong Kong here, and they want everything by the book. Absolutely, every cough
with what's happened to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not just going to go, just get rid of it.
It's not just one bloke selling another bloke something to another bloke. It's a publicly listed company, which will remain a publicly listed company with all the protocols and things that has to go through as well. That's why it's so difficult. And
so it is much more complex than the other clubs.
We all know who the villains of the piece are, and until everything's sold, they'll remain the villains of the piece for me.
I'd like to meet them one day.
We'll get them in.
Yeah,
we'll get them in. Yeah.
Could you imagine the throng outside this on tonight's show? You
could have 20,000 out the door.
No,
Can you imagine the snacks?
The axes coming through your window and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. We've already touched on the Jack Store, haven't we? Really?
Yes.
Yeah. We voiced our opinions on that. Yeah. Okay. We've done that. Cusack. Yep. Okay. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Alrighty. Okay. So, what other involvement do you have with the club then, Brian? Apart from, like you say, doing the day-to-day stuff.
Well, I mean that is life, really. I mean, it's 25 hours a day, and with whatever I can salvage for the family. How do you mean?
Just 25. What's your problem? Is your employer still listening?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
good.
I mean, I do all as many under 21s games as I can. Again, they wouldn't send me to Ipswich today because it would be deemed too long a trip for the audience.
We've played it twice today then, so would you have somebody over there who would give you a write-up so that you can at least do something with it?
I mean, I've spoken to
within your networks
I've spoken to the club and taken stuff from them today for that. And you keep an eye on social media to see somebody will tweet if they've scored or something like that as well, won't you? Try and get down to as many home games as possible. I did the Watford game, which was absolutely bizarre. There was 20 odd chances, and how Kobe Arthur didn't score 2 hat-tricks, I don't know that day.
Story of their lives at the minute, isn't it?
It is really. The youth guys are all good guys, are all very approachable as well. Obviously the younger you get, you don't get the access, or I don't suppose you really need the access, because these lads don't really want to be trying to nurture these kids in the spotlight, do you? Really, they want to be done behind the scenes.
Yeah, I can see that point very well. Anyway, onwards with the show. Mr. Pugh, do you have a rant of the week this week? Do you have a rant?
Just a little one. I thought of last night. Obviously, my
I'm gonna get a beer, right?
No, it won't be that long. My international team, Real Madrid.
Sorry, your international team.
Yeah, my international team.
Do you have an international team, Brian? Could I just ask?
I don't actually.
Good.
I suppose I should get one now.
Think about that. No.
Would you like to ask me?
Have you?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, you're
I have. So I was watching Real Madrid last night, and at the start of the Premier League season, we've heard managers come out and say our players are tired from the Euros. They need a bit more time to come back. People like Payet at West Ham, for example, feeding him in gently through the season because he took part in the Euros. I watched Real Madrid last night, and there's a Welshman who also played at the Euros who was outstanding last night, and he was the fittest man on the park. He was the fittest man on the park. He was the best player on the park. He scored 2 goals. He scored within 74 seconds, and he scored in the 93rd minute.
What was his name?
And his name's Gareth Bale.
And
he is an example. He is an example of why managers can use that myth to ease players back in. But if you as the player, if you're that dedicated that you wanna play for your club, and you want to make a mark on the international level, which he did at the Euros, and he wants to come back and be a major part, show that he is a major part of Real Madrid, which he is, and he was outstanding last night. And like I say, of all the players on the park, he was the one that went deepest into the Euros, and he was outstanding. He was the fittest player on the park, and I just think managers use that easily, and players use that easily. They'll think, I'll use Payet. There are others in the league as well. I think Griezmann didn't play for Atletico Madrid last night as well. Maybe that was the same sort of reason. but Bale, he went on holiday after he performed well in the Euros. He was brilliant. He went on holiday and he worked during his holiday. You know, he worked hard during his holiday to make sure he was fit for the first game of the season, and he was outstanding. He was the fittest player on the park. So fair play, Gareth Bale.
And we didn't sign him, did we?
We did not sign him. No. What a shame that was. He'd have been played at left back and probably would have been at Watford now. But.
Chris, can you tell us all about our competitions and Keep Right On clothing, please?
Of course, yes. We've got 2 competitions. One's for a hoodie, which I've put up a picture on the Facebook page, and one's for a sweatshirt. I'm going to do 2 separate questions, which will both be coming up shortly.
Okay, so listen in.
And the only way you can enter this competition is by email, which is Tilton Talk, all one word, at sports-radio.co.uk. Hyphen is a posh word for.
And we'll put that on the shout box and also the Facebook pages very, very shortly. So listen out for that. That'll come out in about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we'll have a break.
So.
Okay. Let me know when I can go through some of the questions.
Help yourself, please.
Right, okay. There was one. Okay. Regarding facilities, Brian, at football grounds, which would you say is the best of the bunch?
That's facilities
for reporters.
for yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah, to sit and work. Hospitality.
Yeah.
The all round, like where you sit, how much space you've got, what food you get. I mean, you have to go somewhere to beat Arsenal. To be fair, the pre-match food. It's a buffet probably half the length of this street. To be honest, there's so much fresh fruit and different pastas and salads and everything. It's unbelievable.
It's probably why they can't afford to sign a strike.
Yeah, they're feeding the media too much. Yeah. In the Championship, like everyone, I just love going to Fulham. The food's brilliant. The food is absolutely brilliant. To be fair, the atmosphere is good. Go into the ground's nice. All that sort of thing. My least favourite trip last season was Middlesbrough. Just didn't find it a very welcoming or attractive place to
So it doesn't come on from sort of Ayresome Park thing. I've never been to the new Middlesbrough.
My son just bought a car from Middlesbrough last week.
Right, okay.
He drove up. His brother drove him up, and then they both drove the 2 cars back.
Yeah.
And he called it a certain name, shall we say?
Really?
Mm-hmm. The second one was Hole.
Yeah. I remember Ayresome Park, and I remember even Middlesbrough fans didn't like it.
Must be that area. It must be that part of the world, because when Sunderland and Middlesbrough going to both, it's just you can feel the misery descend on you the further north you get.
We apologise
just
for our listeners.
And if anybody knows about misery, it's
me. Yeah, exactly. Take it from me. Yeah.
No, the thing that swung it for me at Middlesbrough was the chicken sludge they offer. They came up with beforehand. It looked like it had just come out of the ICI works next door. Yeah,
that's pretty close to there as well too. And the next one,
Brian. After watching so many Blues games, where do you think Blues should strengthen on the park? I'm sorry you haven't been prepped at all for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's only one left back in the squad, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily on one of the beliefs that Jonathan Grounds can't do anything right, because I think there are games when he does okay. To be fair to him, but it's not healthy to have only one option in any position. So, and I understand they are trying to get a left back in before the transfer window closes as well. So that for me, I don't know if everyone agrees. It just feels a little bit of a lack of pace in the side as well. I don't know. Maybe we're rewriting history a little bit here, but don't really ever seen the counter-attacking game just doesn't seem to be as incisive without Damari Gray. People can say to me, okay, what about the goals and the assists? And there weren't many of them, but just maybe having that threat, and having that pace to get up the pitch, other teams have to be mindful of. So I'd like to. I'm not saying I want to see a sprinter in the side, but I'd like to see someone with genuine pace as well.
I mean, around about complete performances. I mentioned the Derby game, but the Fulham win last year as well. But there's a incredibly impressive performance where we score 5 goals away from home. But like Brian says, you've got Damari Gray, someone with the pace of Gray, and someone with the technical ability of Terrell as well. You forget we haven't got Terrell this year either. You know, and that's two
loss.
players in an attacking position that you know made a huge difference to our side, and we've tried to replace them, but someone like Terrell in this league is very difficult to replace, and well, much to my still dismay that Demarai Gray's a Premier League winner now, so he's about to play in the Champions League.
And it's Southampton now, isn't it, of course?
No, Leicester.
Demarai Gray?
Yeah.
Leicester,
Redmond,
beg your pardon.
yeah.
Redmond.
Yeah.
And then go figure, you take Terrell and Gray out the side, and goals are a problem. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
it doesn't. 2 and 2 probably does make 4 there, doesn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
back to
it
some-
is difficult to replace.
Sorry, just back to some general questions. Probably been said already, but Cots has to go. No passion, lacklustre, weak tackler,
I wouldn't
frustrating, and his free kicks on Saturday were shocking.
Look,
Passing to the
he's
keeper.
obviously struggling without Caddis, isn't he? You know,
There is a partnership there.
Yeah.
You know, you will develop partnerships if you know that there's a regular right back playing behind you, and you can understand what they're going to do. I'll never have the no passion thing on. You know, even Lescott at BC, it's like, you know, he clearly he wants to play football and he wants to play well. There's no way Cottrell doesn't want to play well and he hasn't got the passion to play well. But he's going through. He's not playing great. You know, I think he'd probably admit that himself. But that's the situation we're in. Who's going to come in and replace him?
Rowett needs to start playing the team like McLeish did. Oh, it's gone quiet.
right, sorry again.
I said Rowett needs to start playing the team like McLeish did. So
How's
Chris
that?
Shipley doesn't give an explanation. The
He hasn't got the players McLeish did.
Yeah, the supporters there.
McLeish had Scott Dunn and Johnson
Yeah.
at the back. You know, you bit with Hart or Foster behind you. You build from that, and it makes your job a lot easier. No disrespect to the centrals and people we've got, but
I know what you mean. Next one.
Wouldn't mind Blues signing the Northern Ireland keeper from the Euros.
I think he's gone.
hasn't he?
Yeah, he's
He's
signed
gone,
for
he's
another
gone,
team.
yeah.
Can't remember who,
No, I
but he
can't.
has.
I think we need a backup left back in case Grounds gets injured. So there's Jack.
What could you imagine if he does pick up an injury? I mean, we've just got nobody there, have we? With nothing.
Well, I mean, Caddis has played
I know,
halves there,
I know.
hasn't he?
But you don't want him playing there, though, do you? That's
Yeah, Shotton maybe as a versatile at the back, but he's preferred him at centre back this year.
He's done all right, to be fair, as well.
Yeah.
Sean,
But he's got a bit of pace, which sometimes can get you out of a hole. But
Jeff wants to know: Do we think that if GR needs to rethink his style of play at home?
do you know what? This has been an issue, hasn't it? And
We're an away team, aren't we?
Yes,
We are.
we have been away team. I mean, we haven't won there since, was it May last year? Was it May?
At home,
Yeah.
it's March, wasn't it?
March.
Was it the whole
March.
game in March, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, March.
Hull, yeah, which was on the telly.
So, I know we've had like the summer break, obviously, in
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
period.
It's about 4 or 5 games, though. I think.
We'll end that Saturday.
Yeah.
Well sorted Saturday.
Well, I mean, they might if they come out at Blues, and that might suit.
That
them,
is
to be
the sort
fair.
of team that might suit us because they're not gonna
gonna
with
sit
their
back,
attacking players. They're not going to sit back and wait for us to attack them. I think they're going to try and take the game to us, and you might see the game as a more open event for that.
Robinson would be left back if Grounds got injured, says Ray.
There is that. Robbo's getting on in years, isn't he? Bless him.
He hasn't played fullback for a while, has he?
No. No, I think there's a serious pace issue there. I think teams would note that immediately if they saw Robinson left back. I think that's the one. I think that'd be plan A for every team.
And ELO says we need a Dominguez. That's what we
Bring back
need.
Dominguez.
We need a Dominguez. And Middlesbrough was so cold last season, says Rocket Man.
That might be why.
Middlesbrough's just cold anyway.
Yeah,
With the driving rain, the low temperature, and the chicken sludge, is probably explains it for me. Yeah.
So I've caught up now. Thank you. Yeah.
We're all up to date now.
They're going to all start coming again now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I've said that. There we go. Go on.
Right. Okay. What's your opinion? What's your opinion on the pre-match entertainment at Blues? Because it's been quite a discussion point now.
Yeah.
I find it's been going absolutely mad.
I thought. I mean, as I said, I missed the first 2 games. So I didn't. Saturday was my first home game of the season, and it all felt very tepid to me. You can see, people say that the Tampa is dated or whatever, but
It used to do the job, didn't it?
I think. I mean, the fans latched onto it, doesn't it? If it's cue for the fans, then that's job done for me. I don't feel that what was there on Saturday was a cue for the fans.
They're playing Imagine Dragons now, aren't they?
That's yeah.
I'm so sorry. I mean, fancy walking out and apologising.
it was in Peaky Blinders, though, wasn't it? Is that right? I think someone told me that.
Yeah,
so there is logic behind it.
Yeah.
But you want something up tempo, surely?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I think, like you say, the Tampa thing, it got difficult when they started messing around with the timing of it, and they'd play 30 seconds and then they'd realise that the players were coming out, so they had to cut it short. And you know, well, this is what young Capo's written today. They have it all wrong with the walkout music. For 3-4 years, the Tampa had only lost its touch because of the way it was being played. It would start for 5 seconds and then be interrupted by a microphone announcer 10 times louder than the track, so no one could grasp where you were in the song. And it was, and then they stopped getting involved. If they let the music run for 30 or 40 seconds, guaranteed the fans would get involved, turn it up and play it loud and get everyone on their feet instead of playing some poxy song that has no effect whatsoever. Apologies to Imagine Dragons if they're listening.
I don't think it's about that, is it? It just is. It's that initial 5 minutes when people are coming out of the concourses, and back in our day, of course, you'd be packed in a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the game. And that was just the way it was. But nowadays, of course, it's all there's facilities and things like that which we never used to have.
Which are immaculate, by
by the way, yes.
Yeah.
And I must mention the beer in a moment, Christopher. I must mention the beer. And you just need that special something. I want them speakers to be bouncing off my chest, and for something absolutely special to happen just prior to that moment when your team comes out. It's like people are just sitting there, just eating the pies and not doing anything. It's true.
I'm laughing because Brian says, "How about roll out the barrel?"
Well, we used to sing that back in the 70s, of course, but obviously different words.
Really?
Yeah.
Can't imagine what they're doing.
Yeah. Why not just keep right on?
Well,
Brian.
it is the anthem of the football club, isn't it?
Is there something to be said for having no or little pre-match music and just letting an atmosphere grow organically?
Yeah.
Or would that not happen? I don't.
I think if you started the slow version of Keep Right On,
yes,
and then cut it,
yeah.
But this is the discussion we've had before. Will it work with 15,000 people there and lots of gaps? Will it work? Will it have the same atmosphere that we're looking for? Will it have the desired effect? It would be worth. I think it's worth a try though, because if people are annoyed at this one, then there's nothing. You can't do any more harm than try and play that slow and let everybody else carry it on.
How big is an issue do you think it is?
I personally, for me, it's massive. It's massive. For me, that when them goosebumps when them players are in the tunnel, that's I'm buzzing. I want to get going, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, what's happening? What's happening? Yeah. What's happening? And then the players will come out, and then it's like I don't know. I don't know personally. I don't know the gentleman who does the pre-match entertainment, and I'm not knocking him. It's not I'm not knocking anybody really, but I just want it sorted, different, much different than it is now.
I think maybe because we've been used to the same for so long. I think I remember when they went to
Dingletown, and their PA system, excuse me, that they've got there is absolutely thumping, and their pre-match, they know how to do it. We just have kind of like drifted off, and okay, it's Birmingham, we'll just sit down and.
Well, I remember when they tried to change it to the Coldplay song for a couple of games.
Which song?
Well, someone's gonna have to tell me on the shout box.
Social media put it on the shout box very shortly.
Paradise.
No, it was before that. But they changed it to a Coldplay song, and the fans were booing about the third game during it because they wanted the Tampa back.
How does that make your players feel when you're walking through the tunnel and your fans are booing? We got the
when the song the song comes on and they start booing, and It's
Is there such
It's
a
not
song as
over.
"Pull Your Socks Up"? It does say socks. Up the Villa are coming.
Probably isn't. No.
No.
Somebody could pen it, couldn't they? Maybe.
yeah,
Viva la vida.
Who?
that is it. Yeah, Viva la
Yeah,
Vida.
well
that's the
done,
one,
Rocket
yeah,
Man.
Yeah.
Or a bit of
Yes.
Mambo number 5. That'd go.
Yeah,
Clear the
terrific,
mind.
Yeah, that'd boost the atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I just think it's something so simple that they could, that they don't have to. It's not going to cost them. I don't know. Is it going to cost them to play the Tampere and Mr. Blue Sky? I doubt it.
I would have thought so.
Much
It would
more
be
than
PRS
imagine.
license,
Yeah,
it'd be
more
PRS
than
license, wouldn't it? You've got an
imagine
entertainment
Dragons,
license
so.
within
Yeah.
the,
Well, they'll have an
within-
entertainment
Yeah,
license.
or a premises entertainment license.
Unless they've been, unless they've had word that people want it changed and stuff, so they've tried to give
I
it
think
a
they
go.
would, actually, to be fair.
Change it, but don't come out to I'm so sorry. I mean, how negative is that? I'm not being disrespectful.
I don't know the song, so
You YouTube it later.
Okay, I will do.
It's actually in the Birmingham Mail, I think, isn't it?
I should know this sentence. Yes, it is, yeah, absolutely.
they should play "Loaded" by Primal Scream.
Oh, brilliant moment.
That would be a good entrance song.
Yeah.
"Loaded" by Primal Scream.
I think, to be fair to the club, they are mindful of what people are thinking, and I think they got rid of the Tampere
Yeah,
because of feedback, actually. So, yeah.
because you imagine from the club's perspective, you wouldn't change it for the sake of it. You wouldn't change it for the sake of it, would you?
Not for the sake
you know,
of it,
if people know that that's what they play as the teams come out, you're not just going to change it on a whim. Like Brian said, that they've obviously had words,
do that.
feedback from
Yeah,
people.
I would do the slow version and keep right on to the end of the road, as like you said. Cut it just as the teams are coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Where, at the end of the road.
Or for the boys in Royal Blue, at the bit where they sing "For the Boys in Royal Blue," cut it then as the players come out. But then again, it's all about timing, isn't it? If you time it perfectly, so as the players come out, the song singing "For the Boys in Royal Blue," and then you cut it, and everybody goes into "We're Often Partisan,"
Well, it needs somebody down the bottom of the radio. Yeah, teams in the tunnel. Boom. It's
Yeah,
dead
yeah,
easy. It's not hard. It's not hard. I've been doing it for 30 odd years.
Question for Brian. Brian, do you think we will have this 10 million to spend in January?
As long as the takeover goes through, I mean that's what they said. I mean, I'll be honest with everyone. I haven't gotten in at Trillion Trophy, so
Nobody knows a great deal about them
they don't
anyway,
really,
do they?
I mean, I think Dan Ivory's done a lot of digging to his great credit, hasn't he? And he's found who the men are, and they're undoubtedly wealthy. But they've said in a public document onto the Hong Kong Stock Exchange they'll put 10 million in.
When you say undoubtedly wealthy, is this undoubtedly very wealthy or just undoubtedly wealthy?
Well, again, I don't know. Are they high profile billionaires? It doesn't sound like it, does it?
Yeah.
No.
But then you've got a direct comparison with us and the guys from Trillion Trophy, and then them over the road with their owner, who is very, very public, very loud, very brash, and very happy to make the world and his dog know that what he wants to do and what his plans are. So would you rather have people behind the scenes not getting involved, and not making a fuss? If they put the 10 million in, if the takeover goes through, they put the 10 million in and Marriott spends it, would you rather have that and we don't hear from the owners, or would you rather have what B6 have got? I mean, if I was I'm not being funny, it's easy for me to say because I'm a Blues fan, but I find him embarrassing. If I was a B6 fan, I'll be petrified every time I see a tweet that he sends out, because there's some things you don't want to hear. I mean, stuff about Agbon Lahore, or we're trying to ship him off. If it comes to a point where he has to play, how's he going to feel? And I think I'd rather the silent.
I like the way
silent owners.
Pavos conducts himself on social
Yeah.
media. Very, very good. Very impressed
Yeah.
with the way he does that. Yeah.
But he can, because he's not the money man. He's not in charge of the money.
I know, but
so I'm more than
he's
happy for
well,
him
he's
to
like
engage
that.
with.
He's
It's
pretty
his
much
job
like
to
F1
engage
though,
with
isn't
fans, isn't it?
Yeah.
His sort of role within the club is certainly, when he come in, was to present himself as a face for the fans to talk to and somebody to be approachable. You know, with
Do you know what,
the
mate?
people we had before.
Made me laugh, Chris. When he came in, he's got the glasses and the bald head, and I thought, oh, somebody's just grown a beard.
Yeah.
Carry on, Jack, the name change.
What I would say about that 10 million is, my understanding is it's not 10 million in transfer fee.
No, it's going to be everything. Yeah,
know, 10 million wages. You know, agents' fees there and the balls, the rest, everything basically. You know. So, and how far does that go in a championship?
Wouldn't get your Ross McCormack's fee. Never mind anything else. So.
There's a good question here regarding the takeover things. How on earth can Wolves be a better option for wealthy owners than Blues?
Well, because they haven't got the strings attached. That
It's not a case of the better option; it's the easier option.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
The club's there for sale. Take it. You know, pay the money and take the club.
No strings
That's not
attached.
the case with us.
No,
It's not the
And on the same subject to Brian, this is: do you think the FA let Blues down with regards to the whole Carson Young situation?
Well, you've got to say yes. I mean, you really.
Got to say
FIM Football League.
Yeah. I've had many words with the Football League as well over it, and you know, they say that it was a Premier League issue. The Premier League saying, "Oh, nothing to do with this. Now you're a Championship club." You can't get an answer out of anybody. You know, as a football supporter, you're right into the body that organises, you know, football in this country. And not me, Sam. I'm not interested in you. You are just a nobody. You are just nothing, and neither are Birmingham City. And that's how I feel they treated us, to be perfectly honest with you. The fit and proper persons test was a joke when he took over the club. I said he'd never had his fingers on it. 5 years we've been talking about this, Christopher. 5 years.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it hurts. And do you know why it hurts even more now? Is because them up the road and them a bit further up the road and them across the road are sorted in a few weeks, and 5 years down the line our club is still like in turmoil, and the supporters are in turmoil. I wouldn't say we're in. You know what I mean, Brian, don't you?
Have been through turmoil.
Yeah, but we're still
in turmoil.
We have no answers. We have no definitive answers.
I think we're a country mile ahead of where we were in our first 3 seasons.
1,000 million % Chris, without a doubt.
You have to remember that.
But I think the frustrations, and I think I've just borne out everybody's frustrations on just how people really feel about the whole situation. And yes, we're absolutely, undoubtedly in a far better position. But that's taken 5 years out of my life, and I ain't got many left. You know, as a football supporter.
Oh right, I thought you knew something.
And what's what is arguably continues to be worrying is that, you know, people, it could happen again. You know, you don't necessarily. It doesn't seem that the fit and proper persons test has got any more muscle to it now than it did then.
No, again, I wrote to him about the fit and proper persons test, and it's nothing. Anyway, this competition then, Mr. Brown, we're back on the road.
A couple of weeks ago now, we had the legend Tom Ross in, didn't we?
Who?
There's a certain star, rock star, that Tom has a preference for. Name the. Give any more clues, or what?
No more clues. And it can only be done through the email address that's been put on the shout box.
Name the star that Tom likes.
Who's his idol?
Who's his idol?
Musical idol.
Musical idol, that's the word I was looking for. And you can only enter via our email, which is tiltontalk@sports-radio.co.uk, and I've just put it up on.
And the price for that one is
the Blues hoodie that I've put
made
on.
by Keep Right On Clothing.
Yeah,
Thank you ever so much for Keep Right On Clothing for supplying these for us this week.
.com.
.com.
Well done. And there's another competition coming up shortly.
About another 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. There you go.
When's that open?
We'll draw it in the week. We'll draw it out to the people who've entered. We'll draw it out the imaginary bag.
Yeah.
Imaginary bag. Yeah. Have you ever actually reported on something that's didn't happen?
I can't believe you just asked that question.
I don't hang around. I don't beat around.
No.
You know, like a sign, like a transfer sign or anything like
Kill
that.
that one dead straight away. Such as what? A signing?
Well, yeah, say it's a signing or something, then it didn't go through, or because Tom was saying that he got caught out, didn't he?
Yeah.
On
I can't remember who he said it
And
was.
we have as well, yeah.
I
On
had.
Zogbia, wasn't it? He said on Zogbia when
Zogbia,
McLeish told him
yeah.
that Zogbia was done.
And of course,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
put it out.
And it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
I haven't gone that far, but I'd written a hell of a lot about Rob Kiernan last season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Only obviously for the rug to be pulled when Rangers came calling. So yeah, I mean, I hadn't put it out there, but I'd done a, invested quite a few hours in terms of preparing that sort of stuff. So
Do you prepare
I've
on
had
paper or do you prepare on your iPad or like?
I just do everything on a laptop. Yeah,
On a laptop, yeah.
There's nothing you can do when that happens, though.
Just
must
consign it
be
to the waste bin.
Yeah.
That's right. There was a
So are you freelancing?
no staff.
So you're full staff,
So no, I mean, I wouldn't dream of making. Sounds a bit prurient, but I wouldn't dream of making something up just for the sake of it.
I wouldn't say you made it up. You'd have like a good
steer.
good inclination that was going to happen, and it didn't.
No, not. I mean, the Kiernan one's the obvious one that leaps off the page now.
But you didn't publish.
No, we didn't get it out there. No, I was,
He's got a smile on his face for those that can't see him.
That finger must have been over the button, though.
Yeah,
at times.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Ready to press enter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awkward when that happens.
Saturday's attendance 18,569. This is a derby day. This is a derby day with the Dingles up the road. 18,569. Ticket price is £30. There's a petition going around on social media today to get the government, and I don't know what they can do about it, to maximum the charge of £20 for a championship football game. Now we know that the B6ers paid £42 to get into Sheffield Wednesday the other week. Disgusting
That's what he did last year.
Disgusting amount of money. And then our guys were ripped off down at, where were we?
Well, it was just Sheffield Wednesday last
Leeds
year
as well,
well.
was it?
Leeds,
yeah,
ripped
yeah.
off at Leeds, £37 a ticket, and then or £36 a ticket, and then an extra £5 if you paid on the day. What's all that about?
Scandalous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely scandalous.
It is scandalous. Isn't it about time that there was some kind of regulation put in? I don't know.
What can you do?
What can you do? It's difficult, isn't it? You go to Tesco's, buy a box of cornflakes, and you pay however much Tesco's want you to pay for them, won't you? That's the issue, I suppose.
But if you don't like that price, you can go to another supermarket. I've told you about naming supermarket brands on it. No, but you can, of course, there's other options, isn't there?
Weetabix.
Yeah, exactly. There's other options if you don't want to go. If you don't want to get that cereal, you get another cereal. If you don't want to go to that supermarket, you go to another supermarket. Blues fans aren't going to go. You can't go to another club, can you, to watch?
No,
you can, but Blues fans aren't going to. So at the end of the day, I mean, it's different. It's different in this league to Premier League, but again, I walked around the concourse. I'm working there on match days, walking around the concourse, quarter to 2, so literally like 10 minutes after the gates have opened. An hour and 15 minutes till kick-off, and there's foreign tourists, who have got match tickets, taking selfie sticks in and making the most of it. They'll pay the prices, and that's even worse in the Premier League. Which I think this point about the fans thinking that they're owed a duty of care by the club, or the club is theirs as such. It's
we had this.
It's a long.
It was going a little bit mental earlier.
I think unfortunately it's a long gone dream, really, because clubs know that if a guy of 50 years can't afford his ticket anymore, then somebody else will, and it's about getting that money in, and if the money's coming in, then they do their budgets. They don't make figures up off the top of their heads. They're going to know how much they make from a game if it's this price. So.
Sad indictment on the way football was run though in 2016, isn't it? And it used to be the old flat man and his fag, didn't it? And he sat the afternoon off work, and now it's all corporate and money and however much more sponsorship we get.
But sorry,
you carry on.
I was going to say, we all demand great players, and to pay big money to get the best paid players as well.
And then we want a tenner a ticket.
It's really difficult.
Cheap offers. You can't have it both ways. We don't get the money the Premier League clubs do with their TV income.
Yeah,
we are rely on people coming in for what we can pay out.
Again, I've asked the question so many times. Right, 18,569. If it had been £20 a ticket, do you think it would have been 25,000?
No.
You don't.
I don't really.
No.
No.
Do you think it would have made much of a difference?
No.
Not enough.
2,000 difference.
I don't know if it would have made enough.
No.
Personally, but
I don't think. To be honest, I think we'd have struggled to
you
get
put it down.
25,000. Was it a
you put it
£10?
down to 15,000. You put it down to £15, but then you need double the attendance that come in, and you can't get that because if 18 come in at £30, you can't put it down to 15 because we don't hold 36. So you can't do it at 15.
What is frustrating is it'll be absolutely rammed to the rafters when Villa come.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Which not frustrating for that point of view,
No.
but frustrating that those guys will melt away again. For other matches.
And do you think that's because of ownership issues that we've had and the amount of time that it's taken?
Well, the price is an issue, isn't it?
And the apathy and the prices. There's so many different factors, isn't there?
I said last week is the football. If we were top, if we were top going into that Wolves game and we'd won all 3 games and we'd scored 10 goals in our 3 games, we'd have got 25,000 there. I reckon,
quite possibly.
But we're not that team, so we are going to struggle.
Which of us can tell the working man how to spend his money as well?
Yeah, you will, of course. Yeah.
Got every right not to turn up.
So it's still a waiting game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And the EGM is it scheduled for
October? Is it?
Yeah, October.
I think.
I dare take it. There's still another chance of that being put back again, isn't there?
Possibly.
So, and this is the doom and gloom we suffer, Brian. This is what it's like. What's it like being a Plymouth fan, by the way?
It's not great to be fair. We went bust a couple of years.
I was going to say we go talk about money issues. Yeah.
Nearly went bust a couple of years ago, and people were saying, well, that's the price of living the big time. The big time for Plymouth was bottom half of the Championship.
Yeah.
So
There's a big catchment area around there, though, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that's what everyone beats themselves up about is the fact that it's a big one club city, and
it could be.
So what else we got down there? Plymouth is Exeter.
That's 35, 40 miles
in
away.
the opposite direction, and Portsmouth, haven't you?
But it shows.
But it's nothing like this area. I mean,
it's not.
they're miles and miles
Plymouth
away.
Exeter's the big derby, and like Brian said, you got like 35, 40 miles between them. So
yeah. And it's fairly big place, Plymouth, isn't it?
Yeah, big city. Yeah.
Do you get down there very often to watch games?
I do Blues home and away, so not very. I think I did saw them once or twice last season. I haven't seen them yet this season, so no.
So how does that make you feel? Like, okay, you must. It's like Amir, bless him, lovely man, been in, friend of the show. He's got this little affinity for Birmingham City Football Club, even though we know that he's an Arsenal supporter. And we had the great laugh with him because the KRO keep right on, obviously. What was he thinking? Everybody was spelling crow for.
He couldn't understand what the
because
keep
they had it
was
on the back
keep
of the shirt. He thought it was a large family.
Just a large family of but we put him on and we put him right, and he now understands what crow stands for.
Lovely man.
Yeah, very nice man. Friend of the show, can come back anytime.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay, match day. What's your routine on a match day?
So get there for 1 o'clock, or earlier if it's an away trip, because obviously the British motorway system being what it is, you try and get there, for 12 or something.
Who organises your passes? Because obviously you need your press pass to get in.
Somebody in the office will sort of send an email earlier in the week,
right?
And most clubs sort of know who you are. Seem to have a surname that seems to stick in people's minds for some reason. And then
that went straight up my
and then 1 o'clock you sort of check the internet's working, get your laptop out, try and get onto the work network. Wi-Fi is probably bore people senseless listening, but it's one of the most important things in a journalist's life is the internet connectivity.
Do you take a little backup one with you just in case?
I've got a 3G thing. Yeah.
They're good, aren't they?
They are very good. They're an absolute lifesaver. Yeah. And then so that's sort of 1 till 20 past 1, and you go on social media, chat to a few people, see if you can wheedle a team out of someone early, and then sort of by 2 o'clock, I'm doing the live blog from then until 5 o'clock. Basically, 3 hours. You sat in a seat. You don't leave the seat.
You do that for the Birmingham
the Mail
blog.
website. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and literally sat in your seat for, from 2 till 5. I'll try and nip out and speak to some fans. Get a few videos to put that on the blog as well. Sort of predictions or their feelings about the way things are going. Not always possible if the away fans are on the other side of the stadium, and it can be a 10-minute job to get round there and a 10-minute job to get back. And then the match day experience starts. You're starting to produce stuff at 2 o'clock, and then obviously the game kicks off. Doing live updates there. Half time, you'll do half your match report for the final whistle, and then it's again second half you're doing your updates, and then with about 15 minutes to go, I mean, confess now, I don't see a lot of the last 15 minutes, to be honest with you, because heads down, writing the report to get it sent on the final whistle.
Yeah.
I do
so that blog, that report goes up pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah.
After the final whistle,
as the referee puts his whistle to his lips, they want you to be pressing send. So
it must be very difficult though, because if something absolutely fundamental happens in the last 15 minutes and you miss it,
you can do without.
What happened?
You can do without late goals. I'll be honest. Be honest with you. Yeah.
Did you catch Martin's in the final?
I wasn't working.
I
watched that on TV. So I was perfectly happy to see that. I actually, I did go to the Worthington Cup final in Cardiff in 2001, and I was one of the many thousands who were still outside at half time. Because the traffic was unbelievable. Yeah.
I think it was 5.
Was it the first time they'd ever held a final down there or something?
It was the first final.
5 o'clock in the morning we got back from that place.
And everybody, obviously all Liverpool fans were going that, and all on the same road, wasn't it, as well?
3 hours later, I could still see the football stadium after coming out of the car park.
It was a long day.
3 hours, we could still see the football stadium. And I think I was with the ex-father-in-law at the time, and he was going on holiday the following morning, so he was cranking himself.
We were in Scotland.
We drove down on Cup final day.
We drove. It was on the. Well, we booked it like 6 months in advance. Nobody thought we'd have to drive down to a major cup final from Scotland. Yeah, so we drove down from Scotland. I think we drove down the night before, stayed in Cardiff the night before, and then drove back after that. But yeah,
I mean, after that, I'll do the manager's press conferences, try and grab some players, usually leave the ground about 6:30, 7:15, something like that, and then go home and start writing again. So finish work at 11 o'clock on Saturday Saturday just gone.
Right, okay.
Yeah, lengthy day then.
It is, but I mean, you get paid to watch football, don't you? It's
beats working for a living, doesn't it?
Not exactly stuck down on mine, are you? No. I wouldn't ever complain. It winds me up when I hear football commentators complaining how bad the game is or something like that, because people have paid good money to be at that game, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
I think what do you mean bad as in entertainment?
This is a terrible game, or Alan Green's one for it, isn't he? Constantly moaning. You think you don't like it.
Tom enlightened me last week, because he said every kick, every game, every head is completely different. He said I'm at a unique sporting event every time.
I thought about that when he said
that. Really,
so true.
Really clever as well.
Yeah.
Do you see Tom much?
No game.
A lot, yeah. I see him at most press conferences and obviously at the games as well. Yeah.
Nice guy. Really. We had such a crack here with him a couple of years
He's
ago.
got some great stories.
We could have gone.
He got through a couple.
Night.
We could have done another hour and a half.
Yeah.
Easy.
Imagine if it wasn't teetotal.
You wouldn't be able to remember him, to be fair.
Is that why I've got such a bad memory?
You don't drink, do you?
Only on away days.
Doesn't drink a lot though, do you?
Only on away days.
That's what on the show box there. What was that?
Right, okay, we're going to go for our competition second part of Mr. Brown, please.
Right, okay, second part of the competition
and we must once again mention keeprightonclothing.com.
You've reminded me, yeah. Okay, so Keep Right On Clothing I've got to remember the question now.
You've had 7 minutes
Do
to prepare.
a brand of
See what I have to work with,
clothing
Brian.
that's associated with a very famous Birmingham City player. How about that?
Okay.
Name the player.
And once again, only on the same email address as
Yeah.
previously and just a few minutes ago put up on the shout box.
I'll put it up again as well. Okay.
Tilton Talk at sports-radio.co.uk.
I'm glad you can remember it. I do have the
I could
world's
see
worst
it.
memory. I do
done.
honestly. I'm absolutely terrible. We have a little Super Six league going. You're very welcome to come
my
and join us
goodness.
if you want. It's a Tilton Talk Super Six.
I think that might be professionally embarrassing, but I'll give it a go.
Are we going to get
I'm
round
not
to
as
who's the top
professionally embarrassing as this.
For the very first time in my life, I'm not going to mention that I was 2000th in the world last year.
No.
Out of the whole world, out
Thank
of
you.
about 2.5 million people. I'm not going to mention that. But I'm doing abysmally still. I've had a bad injury, Brian, to be perfectly honest with you. And I just can't seem to get myself match fit.
But there is one of us who's doing even more abysmally.
I don't think it's more abysmally, isn't it? Equally as abysmally.
I think
I'd
it's
say
more.
equally. No, he's bungee jumping equally as
Well, okay.
we'll let him off.
So
that little
that leaves one more. He's
Yeah.
probably the top
Yeah.
top presenter, I should imagine. Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I have great
gone.
delight. I have great
It's
delight
gone.
in going to my local British Legion club on a Sunday night and calling bingo for the old people because I like old people because they are so funny. And Sharon's going around with a phone because my other half's on Super Six as well, showing all these 80-odd-year-olds. Oh look, I'm beating Nick. I said, "Well, I've got a clue what you're on about, lady." 4 points for me this week. 4 points for you, I believe,
Snap,
was it?
yeah.
And for yourself,
I think it was 9.
9.
Yeah,
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I think I'm 9th as well.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I know. And Sharon keeps pointing. She keeps.
I don't
she'll
know
just-
how you get 9 from those results.
Was it 8?
Genuinely
it's either 8
don't.
or 9.
Three,
No, I don't mean mathematically. I
Oh,
mean,
right.
2 and a 2.
how do you possibly predict those?
Okay, shall I
You
give
would have got nothing
okay.
from Burnley, surely.
Shall I
'cause
give
you
you my
wouldn't have got
secret?
Burnley winning.
I asked the wife.
Right.
So
She
you're
knows
getting out.
nothing about football.
So you're no better than Sharon. You're a cheat.
She knows
You're
He
no
is a
better
cheat.
than Sharon. You're a
That's
cheat,
a cheat.
Mr. Brown.
What
You're
do
a
you think?
cheat.
Disqualified.
You're a cheat. Yes, I think have you got a red card? You
Didn't bring it with me, strangely.
this man. How disgraceful.
Yeah, but I have the
Utterly
overriding
disgraceful.
decisions.
Utterly
Well,
disgraceful. Sharon has the same tactics. I have to watch you now.
I genuinely took about 20 minutes to decide on mine this week.
Right, my Super Six this week was sat outside St Andrews at 10 to 3. And someone gets his phone out. He says, "Oh, I've done social Super." I said, "But just check that I have done mine." And do you want to know? I hadn't done it. 10 to 3. Well, about 8 minutes to 3. I got mine in.
I could have closed in on you then.
You could have done because I'd have dropped another 4 points. However, onwards and upwards. It's back to the Premier League, I think, this week, isn't it?
It was Premier League last week
it?
and the Blues game.
And the Blues game.
Yeah, it's Premier League this week, yeah. Just having a look.
And we do have the
6 Premier League games this
the
week.
one of us that finishes the lowest has to pay 25 quid to the Children's Hospital.
That's the trophy for last year's winner there.
Yeah.
Still hasn't been collected. Couldn't give a monkeys.
No, I've told him he can't collect it.
Oh, right.
Why?
Because it's an ongoing trophy. It's always going to be.
Ah.
It's-
Oh,
Have you got a picture of him with it?
You having his
I've asked
name
him-
engraved
I've
on it
asked him
then?
to come.
That's might be a thought. Yeah,
Yeah, I could do
Winner's
that.
name
Yeah.
engraved on it.
Or
There you go.
initials, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice to see Ray and Christina at St Andrews on Saturday. Thanks ever so much for the good laugh. And,
Yeah, he said you
the
annoyed
memories.
him.
Yeah.
Said you were drunk.
Also nice to see Tracy Hemming. I wasn't quite on the floor at that time, but I was getting close. I don't
Only on
mind.
a wide
I'll go
days.
out for Chris. I should be called Mr. Fun, to be honest with you.
You
I really
should,
should be
yeah.
called Mr. Fun.
Yeah. You were mentioning about the your pleasant experience with the catering.
I'm just coming on to that now.
Okay.
So sat outside, done my Super Six, and cut a long story short, Adam and Luke, my 2 eldest, got in just as I was doing my Super Six. Scott had driven me. He'd only passed his driving test a week ago, so he drove me in from Utox to Birmingham. Did my Super Six. Adam and Luke comes. Dad, quick pipe before the game starts. And you're going to be 25. And as I looked to my right, there was a gentleman, shall I call him an absolute gentleman, with a large pack of Fosters on his back and a little tapper, no queue, straight in. £3.60 a pint. £3. I even recycled the glass that I'd got from the previous one, so I didn't use an extra one. Right?
Terrific.
Save the planet and all that. What an absolutely brilliant idea. I'm absolutely over the moon.
Yay.
Well done.
So well done Blues catering department.
Yes.
But yeah, it's great, The
I
only
think
trouble
they're doing it with food as well.
Yeah, the only problem is, though, Chris, is that people are going to cotton onto it in the next few weeks, and there'll be big queues. That's, that's the downside of it.
Yeah.
And I'll have to come and have a moan again. But
Yeah.
what a cracking idea.
But if it takes off, then they know that's it's a positive, and they can try and get some more out.
If
there,
it doesn't take off, Chris, can you please secure me one of them backpacks?
Just for yourself.
I can just walk round in life with a beer constantly on the go.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do with that one. Yeah.
Jack, question for Brian. Jack wants to know how did you get into reporting, and because he said he'd love your job, so how did you get into this?
Better not tell him.
Game?
I just turned up at the Solihull News
Right.
as doing work experience. Got
How old?
quite old actually. To be fair, I
Go on.
was a teacher before that, so
Teaching what?
teaching primary school kids.
Primary school kids. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They'll have to do as I told first time. I couldn't have it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, just turned up at the Solihull News, and
So was you disillusioned with teaching then?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
But bear in mind, you get longer than 6 weeks holiday now in the summer, don't you?
So, but did they not ask you did they not say to you what qualifies you to be a reporter? And you said, I'm a teacher.
They didn't ask that question.
No?
Strangely,
No?
no. I when was it? It was 2000, I think, 2001, and I just pitched up and said, can I have a couple? It was originally for 1 week, and I had a good week, and said, can I stay? And he said, yeah, for another week, and then 2 weeks became 4, and then within 2 or 3 months, a job came up, and I got the job, and then moved over to the Post, and then moved on to the Mail. So I hadn't got any training. I think if you've got any advice to Jack, it would be get into the industry however you can, and then once you're in, then you can move around.
Yeah, making tea, anything. Just get in.
Basically anything. Yeah. Even if it's as many work experiences as possible.
Jack's very welcome to come into the studio next week and make tea and bring biscuits.
Yes.
So he'd be more than welcome.
No snacks this week, either.
It'd be a hell of a lot better than us three.
What I would like to say, Brian, is that when Tom Ross was here, we had Oreos and popcorn. And it seems to be a very large space on the table.
Tom is Blues royalty. To be fair,
He never had a single popcorn.
Didn't.
Nor an Oreo.
And his teetotal as well.
And his teetotal.
He didn't even have a teetotal beer,
No.
did he? Because
No.
we do have teetotal beers for the drivers,
Yeah.
which is always a nice little gesture.
Yeah.
So, how do you see this season panning out then?
At the moment, it's looking hard work, isn't it? I think this week and then the international break is an important time because there's a bit of breathing space to do.
The window will shut firmly.
Then there's a bit of breathing space to do some tactical work, integrate the creative players that he's bought. And then from what we saw with Shea Adams, Shea Adams could very well be a very decent signing. In which case,
Stuart, I quite liked him as well.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, yeah. He's come on late in games, and as I've said, don't watch the last 15 minutes very often. I'm not really very well placed to judge by what he's done, but people have said he did all right and largely impressed. You get Cottrell back up to full speed, and then, as I said, the guys integrated. Kifton Bell fit again. Tesha back to what he was in his first time at Blues. Fabrini, integrated as well. I think there's enough.
Picked up an injury last week. He should be fit for Saturday.
I think so.
I've heard reported tonight. So
I think there's enough in the squad to do comfortably mid-table. And
that's what our aspirations have got to be. I think.
And whatever people say, I don't think Rowett is he's not the world's worst manager that people are making him out to be at the moment. I don't know if it's a small.
I think it's born out of
not.
frustration and the fact that everybody's a football reporter on social media nowadays,
and also maybe the fact
Bless them.
it was Wolves at home as well.
Yeah.
Which
that's the bit that hurt
stung
me.
even more.
That's the one that hurt me is who it was.
And I think he's got the tools there, and I think he'll sort it out, and I think it'll be a fine season. Will it be top six? It was difficult last season with John Terrell and Damari Gray for half the season.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think that's what people. The fact we finished 10th, I think was it 12th the year before that, and then 10th last year. So people, fans, it's so easy to say improvement is 9th upwards then, but you consider what everybody else is doing in the league and what we've had to deal with. Brian said, you lost arguably our two most creative attacking players. We haven't been able to spend money when we can get promoted and can spend 2 or 3 million on players, and we can't do that. It's so easy to say improvement is 9th upwards, but I genuinely think, like Brian says, if you finish 14th-ish, 13th, 14th, I do think it's a really good season. Again, given what constraints we have on us that pretty much every other team in the league don't have.
Yeah. And pretty much, certainly again from my point of view, but I'm sure Gary will be working on the fact that he's got to lift these players now after that defeat, after that performance as well, because it was a poor performance, it was a poor defeat. We face the facts, we move on. Norwich on Saturday, it's going to be a very different game as well, very entertaining, I think, that one. It's £25 to get in as well.
Yeah.
Oh, must mention as well, it's Blues versus London Bees.
Yes,
that's £14 for your coach travel. Get on Birmingham City Fan Talk. Look for Tracy Hemmings' post on there, and all the details are on there.
I think that's Sunday the 3rd, I think.
Or you can find it on the Blues Ladies website as well.
Yeah.
When's that one coming up?
I think a week Sunday, so 2 weeks yesterday. I think it is the 3rd. I think it is of September.
Okay,
that's the semi-final of the Continental Cup. So.
Yeah, sounds.
Yeah, help yourself. More questions coming in.
Wolverhampton wants to join the Tilton Talk Super 6. We've already gone through that one, right? Do you think Blues will sign a few more players because they need at least 2 or 3 after Saturday's awful performance, says Gary? Do you think the plight of Blues Carson Young saga was reported as much as it should have been by Birmingham Mail? Villa takeover, front and back page.
This is something that quite a few people have asked me today, is that how could I put it? And I'm not being rude, I'm just being straight. A lot of Birmingham City fans think that the Mail is very Villa-centric.
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask that, because I spend
I
spend all my all my working life writing about Birmingham. What can I say? I think that there is an awareness that there needs to be some level of parity.
Well, because we're both championship teams now.
Yeah,
for a start.
Yeah,
and it does seem the only publicity we usually get is bad publicity, no matter where it is. You know.
But then again, in the last 5 years, that is all we've generated.
It's been credited. That's been handed out on a plate.
It hasn't. Yeah.
Have some more.
I mean, I suppose what I'm getting into here is I'm commenting on the editorial policy of my manager, I don't like being mealy mouthed.
Number one, I live in Uttoxeter, so I don't get the Birmingham Mail as a paper.
Yeah,
right, because it doesn't. We've only just had electric up there, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's a start.
So I only get the bits that come through from yourself to do with Birmingham City.
Yeah,
because that's really all I'm interested in. So I only ever see Birmingham City posts from the Birmingham Mail, and there's at least one a day, and an email. I get the email as well every day. So I'm only asking what other people have asked.
Yeah,
me.
that's fair enough.
But for me, from my point of view, I can filter out the dross that I don't need anyway.
Apparently, they've won the European Cup though. So.
When was that?
That's right. Yeah, in the 80s, wasn't it? Yeah,
some point in their history.
Yeah.
What I would say,
wasn't a Carling Cup, though, was it? It's got Carling.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd have to be
We won a massive shield.
What I would say is that most media outlets now are encouraged. If they feed themselves, so there's a rumour, it goes around everywhere, and there are a lot more sites and national newspapers and foreign outlets reporting stuff about Aston Villa. Because they were recently in the Premier League, which we then replicate.
And they've just got a new foreign owner.
I see and I understand that, but every time, not every time, because tonight it didn't happen so much. 90% of the time when I'm making that drive on a Monday from Uttoxeter to here, I've got radio on, and all I hear is just B6, 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 B6 all the way through, and then we'll get a mention an hour and 10 minutes into the show, and I don't know. Having said that, we do an hour and a half here, and it's all Blues, isn't it? So,
I bet Villa fans listening to this thinking,
we're kind of a bit biased.
Where's the Villa segment?
And there's 3 minutes left.
Sorry?
And there's 3 minutes left.
What?
Oh, no, not again.
Where's that gone to?
3 minutes.
Can I firstly apologise to everybody for all the questions we just didn't get to?
Hundreds and hundreds.
Slow.
Apologies, people.
Sorry.
We'll keep him on
Sorry.
track and
Sorry.
ask him next time Brian comes
Some
in.
crackers as well.
Yeah. I suppose what it is, Brian, is it's personal to us, yeah? Football supporters.
Yeah.
It hurts if anybody disrespects your football club, if your football club don't play well, if your football club lose, if anything happens, or if a player gets sold that you don't want to be sold. You know, it's a soul, and it's hard. I'm probably right there, Chris.
Yeah, I'd imagine
Very much
so.
so, I'd
Yeah.
say. Very
It's
much
not
so.
far off the mark. Yeah.
And I think passions quite often overrun the step back and the common sense approach to, well, you know, okay, well, we've had this and we've had that, and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah,
I think,
if you see the back page is filled with, you know, claret and blue, then it doesn't make you too happy, does it? But we have to, as Birmingham City supporters, realise and understand what and where our football club is at the moment. Yeah?
Yeah. Where it was 2.5 years ago.
We were very lucky not to be a League One side.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very lucky indeed. All right? We're scraped out of that. We're now, even sadly, because it still hurts, a mid-table average football team with a massive catchment area, and we can't even attract 19,000 on a derby day. That's the level that we're at. You know? And it's sad, and it does hurt. But I suppose that
I'm sure Blues fans wouldn't have minded reading the Birmingham Mail Villa segment at most occasions last year, though. I'm sure they were. Yeah. I'm sure most of them were praying for more Villa material last year.
It's a question I'd like to get somebody from the radio station in as well and ask them the same question. There's nothing wrong with asking a question.
No, it's a fair question. All I can say, I mean, obviously, it's a difficult mission for me to comment on.
A gentleman who came in, James Nursey from the Daily Mail, lovely guy, smashing guy,
James,
and he said it's the size of your football club and the money that's involved. And he was dead straight with it, and I think that's where it is.
I'll go back and I'll speak to my boss and I'll report your feelings on it, because and I can guarantee you this, it won't be the first time he's heard that.
Yeah,
that's good.
But I suppose football supporters have their own opinions, don't they? And that's what we do. We do. Well, it's 9 o'clock. This has been a Tilton Talk Show.
We didn't even get to talk about. I didn't even ask him about Leicester. We'll do that next time.
Quick.
No. It's too much of a debate. We'll leave it till next time.
Good luck on Sunday with your bungee jump, my friends.
Thank you ever so much.
Hopefully next Monday the three of us will still be here doing the next Talk Show. We're not quite 100% sure.
And it's going to be filmed live.
There'll just be a silence. It's not going to be Monday though, is it?
We're not quite sure yet what's happening next week. We will let you know on Facebook and social media as to what's happening next week, because it is bank holiday. And Mr. Brown has to have a rest now and again, because he's getting on in. He is. Brian Dick, it's been absolutely lovely to have you tonight.
I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks so much. And we're not sharks or anything. We've got big teeth, we just do what we do. We do it every Monday because we love the Blues so very much, and that's just why we do it. Here it is, the lads from the Tilton. We'll say good night. All bless you. Norwich, onwards and upwards we go. 3 points. Let's see if we can do it. Start climbing above them across that city, because we don't want it. We do not want to be below them. Not ever. Not again. Mr. Brown, thanks so much for your hospitality. Shame we didn't have any Oreos or popcorn, but there you go, that's the way it goes. I'm obviously not important enough, nor are you, Chris.
No.
Good luck on Sunday, my man.
Thank you.
We'll be there bright and breezy, nice and early. As soon as I come in from the nightclub, I'm going straight to bed that night, mate, so I can get up at 8 and get over.
Good stuff.
And Brian Dick, thanks ever so much from the Birmingham Mail. And you're welcome anytime. We have to have a little vote at the end. Friend of the show?
Absolutely friend of the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Brian Dick. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the Tilton Talk Show. Good night, God bless, take care.
Good night.
It's worth the pointed roll when we sing together. We're there at the end of the road. We are the lads from the Tilton. We'll support you till the end of